So the next speaker, Mr. Carlos Marin from CMPC, Chile. Thank you very much for coming to São Paulo. And Mr. Marin, you have a floor.
Thank you. I will speak now in the name of Mr. Roland Haemmerli, which was the initial speaker, but I'm talking in the name of the Bioenergías Forestales as a head of energy efficiency unit. My name is Carlos Marin, as was mentioned before. And I'm going to present the experience and best practice that we have at CMPC in terms of energy management systems. Well, CMPC is a global leader in the pulp and paper industry that produces solid wood products, pulp, paper, and packaging products, and tissue products in Latin America. From all these figures, what is important to realize is that CMPC is the fourth largest global market producer of pulp, and also the second producer in Latin America of tissue products. What is the CMPC energy inputs overview? Well, we are present in 8 countries in Latin America with 38 industrial sites, which 4 of these sites are present in Brazil. And the total energy consumption is 32.5 terawatt hours. And as you can see in this graph, roughly 3/4 of the consumption is biomass. And why is that? It's because the main consumption is in the black liquor, and the black liquor is produced internally in the pulp production process. Secondly, the second energy input is natural gas and LPG, which is 12%, followed by fuel oils with 5%, and other energy inputs. When viewing the energy inputs on a per business dimension, you can see that the pulp business with only 4 sites, though there are only 4 sites, they are big sites with large consumption of energy. It consists of 80% of the energy consumption. And this is why we focus our first stage of implementing energy management system in this division. At CMPC, we want to be more efficient and competitive in the markets we participate, thus securing the sustainability of our processes and activities. This is our long-term goal and map to the future. So in this sense, we started implementing energy management systems in 2013, as I mentioned previously in the pulp division, focused initially in the 3 sites, pulp mills that are located in Chile. These sites are certified, and also in 2016 we started a second phase of implementation, which comprehended the tissue, wood, and packaging divisions with 25 sites in 6 countries. So what is our current status in this implementation process? First, we divided the implementation process to have a structure and differentiate the status on the implementation in each plant in 5 stages. First is the gap analysis, second the energy management system design, then the implementation, which is actually putting in process all the design that was done, and then an internal audit is executed to adjust all the possible needs that each plant might have, and then we plan to have the certification of each plant. At this stage, we have 4 sites which are already certified, and of these, three are the ones of Pulp in Chile, of the phase 1, and 1 is a tissue paper site which is located in Uruguay. And as required by our colleagues, I will focus now on the phase 1, which is including all the pulp sites in Chile. So what was the scope of the system of these 3 pulp mills in Chile? Well, these operations are consisting of over 2.4 million tons of production, and these are located in the southern region in Chile, and mainly they are producing softwood and hardwood pulp. They have a total consumption, They have a total consumption of 17.3 terawatt hours. And what you can see here of the process, well, basically I will explain roughly what is the process. And what you can see here is that we receive the wood logs from the forest. And first, these wood logs are chipped into biomass chip, which are then selected into the main 2 processes in which energy is recovered in our process, because we produce most of the energy in the pulp mills internally. And this is because some of these wood chips are not fit to enter into the digester and then are sent into the biomass boilers. And also the black liquor, as you can see, this is the output of the digester processor, goes into the recovery boilers to produce both the black liquor and the biomass to produce steam, which is used then to generate electricity, which is an input to the process and also is exported to the network. And also, as all these processes that you can see here are consuming thermal power, the steam that is left over after the electricity production is used internally. And as I mentioned, both energies are produced internally, but the rest of the energy inputs which are representing cost for us are the external energy inputs. And that's why we focused our management in the external energy inputs, which represent 100% of our costs, energy costs. And what was our plan, our strategic plan in the phase 1? Well, we established the 2020 plan that comprehended a goal of reducing 20% of the external energy inputs per unit of pulp produced by the year 2020. And this goal was then focused with a different type of developed projects. And out of these main projects, we focus on the biomass quality improvements, so focusing on both quality and also the water content of biomass. Then also focusing on the electricity savings. What you can save in electricity, you can export. Though you produce it, you can export it to the system. And also steam savings. A lot of processes are using steam for heat requirements, and some of the processes are used, as I will explain later in the project that we will review in detail. Some of the processes require heat, and some of the processes require to be cooled down for next steps. And this was one of the main focuses that we developed in our projects. And also, lately we have been focusing on new technologies in the use of fuels, both black liquor and the renewable fuel that we produce, but also in the fuel oil, biomass, and insulation improvements. Until 2016, over 32 energy efficiency projects, investment energy efficiency projects, because we also had operational measures, were developed in relation to the energy management system, with a total investment of $12.6 million and energy saving impact of over 137 gigawatt hours per year on a yearly basis. Well, as I mentioned, we wanted to distinguish this particular project because it was a project that got a recognition from the Gold Seal, which is given by the Chilean Energy Minister. And this project was focused, as I mentioned before, on reducing use of steam. And in this project in particular, it was executed in the main recovery part of the process, which is the digester. And in this project, we reduced the use of medium pressure steam by combining two streams. The outgoing stream of black liquor was used in a heat exchanger to then heat up the input stream of white liquor. And this way, we were able to reduce the thermal energy use by 53 gigawatt hours per year, which led into electricity generation of over 17 gigawatt hours per year. And this significates an economic benefit of $1.1 million per year with an investment of $450,000 per year. Initial investment. This is a payback of around 5 months, so this was a quite successful project, which we also replicated in other plants. Well, one thing that we are also overviewing as a central energy unit is the legal requirement compliance of the plants, and this we do with the support of our legal corporate office, which is currently emitting reports with a new regulation, but also we decided that at a local level we need support from local external consulting companies, which are helping us in the breakdown of the legal bodies, and then also proposing the verifiers for each legal requirement that is in the energy market. We have quarterly meetings with the plants to explain all the requirements that are upcoming from the regulations, and this is then each plant is responsible to upload the verification of these requirements on an online software that we have centralized, and this compliance cycle is finalized each year by an annual compliance audit, which is also executed by an external company. Well, what do we do in terms of infrastructure information of infrastructure? Well, we have at the field level, we have different meters that allow us to have the instant consumption of steam, oil, electricity, and all the energy inputs. And these meters are then centralized at the control level to be able then as information for the operational control rooms for our operators. And this is being done basically with a software that allows us to see all the process and each of the sub-processes and how these processes are operating from an energy point of view. And basically, this is on a per plant basis, and we have been implementing lately at a management level an energy management software which allow us to have a centralized information which highlights the main energy performance indicators of our plants in dashboards, like easily accessible dashboards that you also can have in your phone, and allow us also to recover information not only from the control level, from SCADA, DCS, and PLC, but also from ASIP and other databases. Well, what have been the results from all this implementation? In terms of the phase 1, we have achieved a 22% energy improvement when considering the use of external energy resources in 3 years since the certification of the 3 plants until 2017. This has led to energy cost savings of over $40 million in these 3 sites, with total investment of $12.6 million. And this is equivalent to a reduction in energy savings of 5,000 gigawatt hours in these 3 years, and is also equivalent to around an emission reduction of 200,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. Well, from our experience with the 3 pulp mills, but also with the 25 other plants that we are in the implementation process, what are our recommendations and best practices that we want to share with you? Well, first, we think it's key to have continuous and explicit management support ensuring resources, meaning not only economic resources, but also time. The time of the key people needs to be available. It's not only about having the money and having the finance resources, but also this should be complemented by dedicated energy managers at a subsidiary level, but also in our case we decided to have at a central level. And this is supported by a clear energy policy which should establish ambitious goals, ambitious short-term and long-term goals. And also we can recommend to define the local energy teams at the beginning of the process, not to wait until the implementation, but to do it at the beginning so they can start focusing on their task and start gathering all the information. And for us, the consideration of local cultures and legislation is really important as we are operating in these 8 countries. It's different to implement it in Chile than it is in Brazil. You need to be locally, you need to travel and be present and understand how everything works. It's not always the same. And one program that was really successful at the Pulp mills was the innovation in ECEL, which we call it ECEL, which was an innovation program in which each operator or manager or any participant of our company was able to promote their own ideas to reduce energy consumption. And this was the main source of at the initial years of projects. And also the successful projects were priced directly to the people who promoted them. When in terms of resources, what we have been experiencing is that it's really important to integrate the energy management system with the existing resources. Meaning, in our case, we have the BEST, which is our lean manufacturing operating model, and our current results have been improved in terms of like the management of the system, in terms of paperwork. All has been reduced because we have integrated everything to this existing management, lean management program. And this can also be applicable to other ISO standards, the TPM, etc. We have been also implementing the standardization of all the procedures, if possible, at a regional level. Also, it's important to count with energy monitoring tools from the beginning, because what you cannot measure, you cannot really improve. And we have been also counting with support of external consulting companies. This is something which is important because they can be present more consistently than the corporate office, and we think it's important to count with them and to have continuous contact with them. So thank you. That was all my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marim. As energy-intensive industry, I believe you have a very long history for improving the energy efficiency. Thank you very much for sharing your experience.